It's the new Ultimate Universe, and Wakanda is in trouble. But they haven't even faced the enemy yet, as they have infiltrated Wakanda from within. What's going on, Marvelites? I'm Joe, and today we're talking about Ultimate Black Panther, issue number 1, written by Brian Hill, art by Stefano Caselli, and lettering by Corey Pettit. If you're new to Ultimate Universe within Marvel, this is a new Ultimate Universe that was launched in November of 2023 by Jonathan Hickman, and is in the same universe as Ultimate Spider-Man and what Ultimate X-Men will also be in. A brief overview of this Ultimate Universe is basically where the Maker, an evil version of Reed Richards, has basically created his own Earth using time travel and basically has made sure that none of the superheroes became superheroes by making sure whatever happened to them did not happen. However, of course, Wakanda is not known and is still unknown to the Maker and the outside world. The issue opens up in West Africa, where we see these people working in a village. And the next thing we know is that these people with these futuristic suits come out of nowhere and essentially vaporize everyone in the entire village. Now, in the shadows are some spies from Wakanda who see this and decide not to act and to go back to Wakanda and tell them the news of what's happening. Right after that, we learn that in the prologue to the rest of the comic, Khonshu and Ra are most likely on the Maker's council, who are helping to also continue to control the world. Right after this vaporizing attack, we get an intro to Black Panther, who has apparently woken up from a bad dream, and we do find out that these seem to be happening somewhat regularly. We also learn that the Black Panther is also now married to Okoye, where she was the head of the Dora Milaje and is no longer in this conversation. We see a major theme that I think we'll see moving forward in this comic run and series, is that it looks like T'Challa wants to change traditions of what has usually been happening within Wakanda. Because Okoye refers to T'Challa as my king, and he basically says there's no need for those kinds of pleasantries. She mentions that it's basically tradition, and he looks out on Wakanda and says traditions must change. And we see that right away next, where we see him visiting his father, T'Chaka, who says that he should basically go ahead and meet Voodoo Khan, which seems to be these somewhat mysterious people who have some sort of connection to the gods. And T'Chaka believes that these dreams that T'Challa has been having can be kind of read and interpreted by the Voodoo Khan. And you can see that T'Challa doesn't necessarily believe in figuring out what's going on by pursuing what's happening and interpreting his dreams. T'Challa does go ahead and talk to the Voodoo Khan. They basically say that let us talk to the gods and let's try to interpret these dreams. They have also said that there is some sort of enemy very close by. T'Challa is basically doing very normal pleasantries to keep good with the Voodoo Khan, but doesn't necessarily believe in what they're saying and what they have to offer. Right after that, we end up seeing those two spies that saw that village in West Africa get vaporized come to T'Challa and let him know what happened. And Shuri is there, as well as Okoye. Shuri immediately wants to go to war with these people that are just basically vaporizing towns and villages within Africa. And T'Challa says that we need to figure things out. We need to figure out what they want and why they want it, and then we can decide if we want to go to war. Now again, at this point, Wakanda is unknown to the rest of the world. And right after this, Shuri has a conversation with the head of arms of the Dora Milaje, Abeni, and you can tell that Shuri is kind of conflicted with how they're still hiding the secrets of Wakanda. She wants to help the rest of the world and let the rest of the world know that they exist. Obviously, Shuri and T'Challa have a decent relationship from what we can tell so far, but you can tell that she's kind of conflicted with the way that he's kind of ruling things right now. Right after that, we go back to another village in West Africa. We see this young kid playing on the beach. He's just kicking around a soccer ball. Next thing you know, those same futuristic people come out of the water and are about to vaporize him. But the next thing you know, he's got some blood on his face, and you see those people just down on the ground, completely dead. And the next thing you know, you get this version of what looks like someone from Wakanda who had basically saved this young kid. The next thing you see is this panned out view of a futuristic ship who's obviously on the side of Khonshu and Ra. And then you see this lightning bolt pretty much split it in half, and then you see more of these futuristic soldiers coming towards that person. He takes care of them. The next thing you know is that there's the people from the village out there all on their knees basically thanking him, and what he says to them is, your gods and hidden kingdoms, and hidden is emphasized, will not protect you, but Killmonger and the Wind Rider will. Obviously now that person is Eric Killmonger and Wind Rider is Storm. I think the thing to take away from this is clearly Eric Killmonger knows that Wakanda exists. I'm assuming that he was or is a potential citizen or was someone from Wakanda or still lives there and has decided that he doesn't want to be a part of their community and wants to do his own thing to help people. Or maybe he's been ostracized from Wakanda and is now doing his own thing. It'll be interesting to see if potentially Shuri will eventually side with Killmonger and Wind Rider, aka Storm. It will also be interesting, I think, moving forward to see if Wakanda is going to have to side with Killmonger and Wind Rider, which I'm assuming at some point they will, but they probably won't agree on certain things to go up against Khonshu and Ra. Now, that's not the end of the comic. The next thing that we see is we're back in Wakanda. It's the celebration of life. Everyone is out and about. T'Challa is up on this floating platform with his father, as well as what looks like probably his bodyguard from the Dora Milaje. But the next thing you know is we see the Dora Milaje person rip her hood off, and she's got bombs strapped to her chest and says, "For Khonshu and for Ra." She pushes T'Challa off the platform, and basically as he's falling, he's turning himself into the Black Panther, and we see that platform explode, therefore killing herself as well as T'Chaka. And right at the end, we see T'Chaka on the ground, burning in flames with T'Challa looking on, and we see soldiers rushing over to T'Challa, and he says, "Call the queen, call my sister, and call the Vodou Khan." He then at that point decides Wakanda is at war. Overall, I really like this comic issue. I'm not as excited about it as I am as Ultimate Spider-Man, and I think part of that has to do with just this typical Ultimate Spider-Man story of Peter Parker has been told over and over again, and now this is a completely different take on him. I honestly haven't read enough Black Panther myself to even kind of give a take on past issues or takes on Black Panther. However, what I do think is going to be different is maybe, again, T'Challa's relationship with his sister Shuri, as well as maybe the origins, as well as the inclusion of Killmonger and now Wind Rider? Yeah, Wind Rider. I think the big thing moving forward is going to be, how did Khonshu and Ra infiltrate Wakanda? Wakanda thinks that they are completely unknown to the outside world, and obviously that's not true because, again, Killmonger knows that they exist, whether he was originally a Wakanda citizen and was either decided to do his own thing or was ostracized from Wakanda. And obviously someone has infiltrated Wakanda to the point where they are now attacking from within. What did you think of the first issue of Ultimate Black Panther? Let me know down below in the comments, and I would love to chat with you about it. If you want more Marvel content just like this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. And until the next video, Excelsior.